Hello everyone. I, Ms. Bhavna Danesh Munod, welcome you all in Agricultural Development Trust, Shardabai Pawar, Mahila Arts, Commerce and Science College, Sharda Nagar, Baramati. Good day, dear students. Last period we were studying about exceptions of supply, and that in that we saw about labor supply. Labor supply is also backward bending curve. Then we saw about urgent need for cash. We also saw about agricultural products regarding exceptions of supply. Now we come to a fourth point in this chapter, that is perishable goods related to exception of supply. So what they have told, in case of perishable goods, the supply would offer to sell more quantities at lower prices to avoid losses. For example, vegetables, eggs, etc. children they have given. Now perishable goods means what, children? The goods will vanish immediately, destroy immediately. So in case of that perishable goods, the supply will be what would be supplied more at lesser price during that time. Say milk products, vegetables. Why? So better having loss if the product is not sold, sell it at less price. So at least the product or whatever supply is there, it will be over and the goods will be sold in the market. So to avoid loss, perishable goods are sold at larger quantity with lesser price. So this is one exception of supply, children. Then the next one is rare goods. Now rare goods means rare goods, rare articles we can say. So this cannot be increased if the articles are rare, children, less. It cannot be increased or decreased according to the demand. So even if the price rises over here, supply remains unchanged. So for example, they have given rare paintings, old coins, antique goods, etc. Antique things. See, some things are very special, antique. They cannot be increased, or that piece will be only one. It cannot be made double piece. So for this, children, for those rare antique pieces, as it cannot be increased or decreased, the price will not be high or low. Demand and supply will not be affected for rare goods. So even if the price rises, supply will not change. Supply will not be rising because it is one piece, antique piece. Why we tell it antique? Because it is special. It cannot be made as a carbon copy. It cannot be made duplicated. So for this also exception is there, that rare goods, even if the price rises, supply remains unchanged. So example they have given about rare paintings, children. Then the next point of the chapter we come, children, the next chapter, that is next point in chapter, variations in supply, that we have seen in demand also. Regarding variations in demand, where we studied about expansion and contraction of demand, children. So here also we have variations in supply. We will study about expansion of supply and contraction of supply, and distinguish between will also be asked regarding expansion of supply and contraction of supply. So variations in supply means when quantity is supplied of a commodity varies due to change in price, then other factors remaining constant, it is known as variations in supply. So there are two types in variation. The first one is expansion and the second one is contraction, children. So what is expansion of supply? We will see that it refers to rise in the quantity supplied due to rise in the price of a commodity, but other factors will remain constant. So what is there? Rise in price, rise in supply, but other factors remain constant, children. That is called as expansion of supply. So expansion of supply leads to an upward movement shown in the diagram, children. So see, if you can see the diagram over here, what figure? 4.6 tells us that at x-axis we have quantity supplied, at y we have price. Then you can see P to V1 is showing in upward direction, that is price. Then quantity supplied, then the SS curve also showing, see over here, SS curve is in upward direction. So this diagram tells us, children, regarding 4.6 tells us x-axis and price on the y-axis, quantity supplied rises from OQ to OQ1, OQ to OQ1, with a rise in OP to OP1 resulting in an upward movement from M to N along the same supply curve SS. So it is known as expansion of supply. Now see children, again I will explain regarding this diagram. See what they have told. Expansion of supply means rise in price increases rise in supply but other things remaining constant. Then x-axis they have plotted quantity, y price. Then children see here PP, that is the price has rise from OP to OP1 and quantity also increases from OQ to OQ1. And then this MN is showing supply curve in upward direction children. So that is called as expansion of supply. Then we come to the next second one, contraction of supply. Now what contraction of supply tells us? Let us see. So contraction of supply will tell us that there is fall in quantity supplied children, contraction of supply. Fall in quantity supplied due to fall in price of a commodity. Other factors remaining constant, that is called as contraction of supply, and the curve is in downward movement, supply curve. So contraction of supply, that is fall in quantity supplied due to fall in price of commodity, other factors remaining constant, and there is a downward movement. Now see the diagram, we will explain through diagram. If you can see the graph children of contraction of supply, let us see over there. That is, see quantity supplied on x-axis, y-axis price. Then the next thing is here the price has been fallen down. See from OP to OP2 the price has been fallen down. From OQ to OQ2 price has been fallen down. And the MN curve is showing downward direction. That is SS supply curve. So what has happened in contraction of supply? Fall in quantity supplied, that is fall in price leads to fall in quantity supplied, price of a commodity, but other factors remain constant, that is called as contraction of supply. So distinguish between will be asked, where you can show first point meaning, second point you can write the curve direction, and the third point children you can write as in diagram drawn of expansion and contraction of supply. Now come to our next point in the chapter children, that is changes in supply. That changes in supply also is divided into two types, increase in supply and decrease in supply. Now changes in supply means what? When other factors change and price remains constant, it is known as changes in supply. So there are two types of changes in supply, increase in supply and decrease in supply. Now what is increase in supply? Increase in supply refers to rise in a supply of given commodity due to favorable changes in other factors. So rise in supply of the given commodity, but what? Due to favorable changes in other factors. Now what are the other factors, such as say fall in the price of inputs, falls in tax rates, technological upgradation, but price remains constant, that is called as increase in supply. See here, increase in supply refers to rise in supply of a commodity due to favorable changes in other factors. So what are the other factors? Fall in the price of inputs, fall in tax rates, technological upgradation, etc. And the price remains constant. So the supply curve shifts from the right of the original supply curve. So from the diagram we can make it understand, that is quantity supplied over here they have shown on x-axis. We will see quantity supplied shown on x-axis, y-axis price has been mentioned. Then SS is what? Original supply curve, and S1 and S4 is shift in supply curve children. That means what has been happening over here, increase in supply is there due to rise in supply of commodity, but because of favorable changes of other factors. So what were other factors over here? Fall in the price of raw materials, inputs means raw materials, tax rates, technological upgradation. So this was favorable, and then increase in supply was there. That is called as increase in supply, rise in supply as well as rise in price. So this figure 4.8 children, what it tells us that on the x-axis and on price and y-axis we have quantity supplied rises from OQ to OQ1 and at the outward shift means same price resulting in an outward shift of the original supply curve to the right from SS to S1 S1. It is known as increase in supply. So whatever you see over here, see children, it is an outward shift of SS curve for increase in supply. Then we come to the next point, that is decrease in supply. Let us see what is decrease in supply. Now decrease in supply children, decrease in supply means, the next point, decrease in supply, it refers to fall in supply of a commodity due to unfavorable changes in other factors. So such as whatever the other factors will be there, increase in price, inputs, increase in tax rate, outdated technology, strikes by worker, while price remains constant. So here the supply curve will shift to the left of the original supply curve and it is showing in inward direction. So over here children, decrease in supply means what? Decrease in price will be there, decrease in supply will be there. So decrease in supply refers to fall in supply of a commodity due to unfavorable changes in other factors and price remains constant. Keep in mind. So unfavorable factors are there, supply has been reduced, supply has been decreased. So in that unfavorable factors, what will be the price of inputs, increase in tax rate, outdated technology, etc. So it is shown in figure 4.1 over here. So figure 4.1 shows as quantity supplied, then y-axis it shows price, and supply flows from OQ to OQ2 at the same price OP to OP1. So resulting in an inward shift, it shows, of the original supply curve to left from S to S2. It is known as decrease in supply. So we have seen regarding increase and decrease in supply. So that is distinguish between increase and decrease and supply is there. Distinguish between expansion and contraction of supply will be asked children. Now we'll come to know what is supply actually and what is aggregate supply, just for basic knowledge. Now supply we all know, the production, that is whatever input is there, it is finished into final goods and then it is outputted in the market. So supply is a microeconomic concept. Keep in mind, supply is a microeconomic concept. It refers to quantity of a commodity that a seller is willing and able to offer for sale at a particular price during a certain period of time. So supply is what? A microeconomic concept. It refers to the quantity of a commodity that a seller is willing and able to offer for sale at a particular price during a certain period of time. Then the second one is aggregate supply. Now aggregate supply is a macroeconomic concept. It refers to the minimum amount of sales proceeds which entrepreneurs expect to receive from the sale of output at a given level of employment. So aggregate supply is what? A macroeconomic concept and supply is microeconomic concept. And we have studied micro means individual and macro will study in aggregate way. So aggregate supply refers to what? Macroeconomic concept children. It refers to the minimum amount of sales proceed, whatever sales will be done during that particular period, that means particular year, by entrepreneurs means who? Producers who are expecting that my sales should be there in the market at that particular year. So much and so they will make the amount. For example, say 50,000 boxes I have made. I am a producer. So I will expect that in the market during this year at least 40,000 boxes will be sold in the market. That is my expectation and that is called as aggregate supply children. So aggregate supply is a macroeconomic concept, refers to the minimum amount of sales proceeds which entrepreneurs expect to receive from the sale of output and a given level of employment. This is for your basic knowledge. Now we'll come to the concepts of cost and revenue, children. The further point of this chapter. So concepts of what? Cost and revenue. Now what is a cost concept? We will see, children. Cost concept. That when an entrepreneur undertakes an act of production, he has to use various inputs like raw materials, labor, capital, etc. He has to make payments for such inputs. So the expenditure incurred on these inputs is known as cost of production. So cost of production increases with increase in need of output, and there are three types of cost which are as follows. So see, cost concept over here means what? When an entrepreneur undertakes an act of production, he has to use what? Various inputs. Various inputs we know. For production we require raw material, we require labor, we require capital, we require children, and we have to pay payments for such inputs whatever we are using. So whatever payment we are doing for labor, machinery, capital, rent, say factory processing, for raw materials, that is called as cost of production. That means the entrepreneur has to pay money for that, for production cost. That is called as what? Cost of production, children. So cost of production will increase when increase is there in need of output. And then there are three types of cost of production, children, which we'll come to know one by one. So the first one is total cost. It is called as TC. So yeah, we are studying what? Cost of production, cost concepts. In the first one is total cost, TC. Now what is total cost? Total cost is the total expenditure incurred by a firm on the factors of production required for production of goods and services. So total cost is the sum of total fixed cost and total variable cost at various levels of output, TC. So what is the total cost? Is total expenditure required, incurred by a firm on the factors of production required for production of goods and services. So total cost means what? Sum of the total fixed cost and total variable cost at various levels of output. So symbolical representation we will see over here regarding total cost, children. So see the symbolical representation over here. TC is equal to TFC plus TVC. Now TFC means total factor or fixed cost, and TVC means total variable cost, and TC is, children, total cost. So the formula to calculate TC, that is total cost, is related to total fixed cost plus total variable cost. Now what is total fixed cost? We will see. Total fixed costs are those expenses of production which are incurred on fixed factors such as land, machinery, etc. So that is called as TFC. Keep in mind. Total fixed cost means what? Production, it is land, machinery, fixed assets. Whatever cost we have incurred, we have spent it to purchase fixed asset, that is land, machinery, etc. It is called as TFC, total factor cost, children. And what is total variable cost? Total variable cost are those expenses of production which are incurred on variable factors such as labor, raw material, power, fuel. Why variable? Their prices always gets fluctuated, changing, children. Variable cost, that is called as TVC. So total variable cost are those expenses of production which are incurred on variable factors such as labor, raw material, power, fuel, etc. And TC is calculated as TFC plus TVC. Now the second point over here, children, is AC, that is average cost. Now what is average cost? Average cost refers to cost of production per unit. So it is calculated by dividing total cost is equal to total quantity of production. So average cost will refer to the cost of production per unit, means calculated as dividing total cost is equal to total quantity of production. So here AC is equal to TC. So TQ, that is total quantity, AC is equal to average cost, TC is equal to total cost, and TQ is equal to total quantity. So this average cost means it is used by dividing AC is divided by TC, calculating divided by total cost by total quantity of production. That means AC divided by TC. AC is equal to TQ divided by TC, total quantity divided by total cost. So here the formula is represented over here, children. See the formula for average cost, it is AC is equal to TC upon TQ. That means total cost divided by total quantity. That is average cost. And we have studied about total cost, that is TFC plus TVC, fixed cost plus total variable cost. Average cost, the symbolical representation is AC is equal to TC divided by TQ, that is total cost divided by total quantity. So one example they have given in your textbook regarding how to calculate average cost. They have told that if the total cost of production is of 40 units, 40 of commodity, and it is 800, then the average cost is, so TC, that is total cost for production, meant how much? 40 units were there, but the total quantity of commodity was 800. So 800 divided by 40, that is TQ divided by TC, say 800 divided by 40, rupees 20 per unit average cost was there for production, children. So this was regarding total cost and average cost. Marginal cost we will study in the next period, children. Till then, bye. Thank you.